Hey, 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 gang. How are y'all? It is Aloha Friday. Yes, yes, Pia. It's Aloha Friday. You gonna sing with me? No work till Monday. A doobie doo, a doobie 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 doo. Okay, song's out of the way. Yes, that's my version of an intro. Okay, treats are coming. Oh my gosh. You guys have me just wrapped around. Oh my God, they are crazy. How are y'all? Been hanging out and chat? You know, it's actually kind of fun. I make sure I'm here if I'm not running too last minute, which does happen. And Cassie, okay, I'm not sure if you can see this one's like, oh, I know where the bag is. I'm going to go sit by the bag. Yeah, so, well, let me see. Okay, I've got two different windows open, one where I can see where the chat is right now, and the other one so I could go through and make sure I can say hi to everyone. And yeah, a lot of people have been busy today. I know Mrs. Portland had her craft fair today, so I'm hoping that went real well. And, but yeah, those things are exhausting. Those are exhausting. So first of all, our dear Sleuth Mom, hey girl, and thank you. Sleuth is, oh, yeah. You guys know her channel. Get your butt over to her channel. Sub. But yeah, no, coming in here, saying hi to people. She and Tim have been talking back and forth. So hey, 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 Tim. Hello, Cassie. You want to say hi to them? You want to say hi? Yeah? Oh my gosh. And then we had Sherry pop in. How you doing, Miss Sherry? Was it Sherry who's got the goodies in her body? Yep, it's Sherry who's got the goodies in her body right now. So you're going to be enjoying this. This will be a good live right now. So love you, girl. And we have Burden. By the way, we had the most amazing live on Wednesday as part of the Internet Safety Live that we've been doing. We were at Sleuth's last week. This week we were over at Burden's channel, and next week we'll be at mine, and then the following will be at PJ's. And so each week we're doing different. In fact, the week at PJ's channel. So guys, okay, that getting over to PJ's channel, and we'll make sure we get those in the links and all. And I try to share everyone's channels out on the community tab. Her live, the one that we're going to do over on her channel, is going to be talking about internet safety for teens and all, and adults and everything else, but the mental health side of it, how it affects us from a mental health point of view. So I wanted to get that in because I know a lot of you guys who come at this live, yeah, that's what you're wanting to talk about. And also I definitely catch that one. Who else we got here? Mrs. Portland. Yes, you need rest, girl. You've been working your butt off all day. Okay, those crafts fairs take tons of work to begin with. And then, oh my gosh, you get to it and you're like, okay, finally, we're going. And it's just nonstop, one thing after another. It was slow today. Okay, it was slow. Well, it's going to build up. I promise you this. Saturdays are usually the busiest days at those things. Sundays can be. It's just hit or miss. It depends on the population you're dealing with. Let's see. Who else we got here? AJ. Hey, AJ. Yep, we got our puppy bomb. Oh, my gosh. This one really wants to puppy bomb. What? So big. You don't want... She doesn't like the treat that I pulled out. Okay, I've got like all these different treats in one bag. She wants one type of treat, and that's it. Yes. Oh, you want a meatball? You want a meatball? I give up. Here she goes. How you doing, my dear? And last night I was laying watching TV with my mom, and I was like, oh, tomorrow's Friday. Yay, we can hang out. Yes. And yes, we will be doing Cantina after this also. Okay, I think that is out. Today was setup day. Okay, Mrs. P. That makes sense if today was setup day. And so it's, yeah, tomorrow will be really busy. Sunday could be either way. It just depends. I've seen them go both ways. So hopefully you'll do really, really well. So, okay. So this subject came up and, oh, I forgot to check who it was. Someone last week, and if it was you who suggested this subject last week, I am so sorry. I meant to go back and check who it was who suggested this topic, and I forgot to do it. Bad local, bad local, bad local. Okay. But one of you guys did. At the end of the live, I said, hey, you guys have any ideas of what we can talk about? And one of you popped up and said, what about abandonment issues? And I'm like, ooh, yes, that sounds like a good one, because I think it's something many of us do deal with. We may not realize we're dealing with it, because a lot of times we think of abandonment issues as coming from abandonment. Your parents, hey, Punkette, how you doing, my dear? And May and Punkette, how are both of you guys doing? And there's Miss May. And also, yeah, a lot of times we kind of think of abandonment from the point of thing, okay, abandonment issues, well, your parents abandoned you. Well, my mom and dad never abandoned me, so how could I have abandonment issues? Then you start seeing things and you're like, yeah, but many of these things make sense for me, but how? And then all of a sudden you realize, oh, there are other ways abandonment issues can pop up. So I wanted to address that today. And Sherry, you are the bomb. Thanks for sharing PJ's channel. We need to get PJ to 500. She is getting so close. We just need to get her there so we can help out and get that community tab for her to share missing kids on. And missing adults. So let me pull up all my banners and rewind all this. Okie dokie. So first, before we start, just as a reminder to everyone, what we talk about here a lot of times can be hard and can bring up emotions. I'll be honest. Okay, there's times that I do these lives and afterwards I am slightly triggered. Okay, or things, and I do worry about everyone because I want everyone to feel like they have a safe place to come. Okay, and that they can work on issues, but at the same time, they can handle what might come out of working on those issues, because that's one of the hardest things with dealing with problems. And also, just as a reminder for everyone about the new Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Okay, 988, we've talked about it before. It is definitely there for anyone. You don't have to be thinking about, okay, unaliving yourself, suicide, self-deletion, whatever the word is that we're using today. Okay, it's for anyone. It's there for anyone. It's for crises. If you've got a crisis, you are able to utilize it. Crisis could even be you have a friend that you're talking to and they're having problems and you don't know what to do. Okay, so please remember that channel is there. And let me open this just a little bit more. So AJ has here, there's 2 ways a person with abandonment issues can react. They could not want to be with anybody or have children, or they're too fucking codependent and they're hopping really. Exactly. And we're going to talk about a couple of those different things, because there are many different ways this all can pop up. Hey, Patty, how you doing, my dear? Hello. So let me skip past some of this stuff. Okay. Where I wanted to start on is something I have not done yet, but in doing some research on this, hey, Robbie, love you, my dear. JP's here. I've been watching JP's channel a lot lately. It's got amazing music in there, and we were talking about having skills to deal with emotions and stuff, and many times that can include writing music. Okay, Robbie, you've done that before too. Okay, all of us have things that we can go to deal with our emotions, no matter what those emotions are. And JP's music has been just really, really great to listen to. And I've actually got a couple pieces downloaded for certain times that my emotions are in certain areas. So, and Red Rock's here. Hey, Red Rock. And yeah, sorry, Pup is really bugging me for treats now. So I wanted to bring this up. As I started looking up information on abandonment issues, I came across this one website. And this one website had some really interesting information. Okay, so here we go. There we go. Okay, it's from choosingtherapy.com. And it's just a great little website. Go take a look at it when you have a chance. And all the times we've talked about different issues that pop up in life, mental health issues, okay, abuse, domestic violence, all sorts of things, I've never really pulled out the statistics. But I came across this, And they had it under their abandonment issues, but I think this is helpful on many levels for people. So first of all, one of the things I found very, very interesting here was that they're saying 50% of children, 50% of kids in the U.S. experience some type of adversity before the age of 18. Okay, hey, Sky Maiden. And also think about it. And it makes sense. Now, a lot of times we see adversity as the big stuff, abuse, things like that, and it could be. But there's many different types of adversity. And so often, hey, Siren, yes, blame local. Everyone blames everything on me, okay? In real life here, now Siren's got it. Actually, it's true. Everyone does, but anyhow. And it's a joke, inside joke among all my friends. But yeah, so 50% of people, okay, end up having some level of adversity while they are children under the age of 18. So, and the problem is children who have adversity. Okay, yeah, there's some amazing things. I'm a strong believer that adversity in our younger lives, okay, in our youth, gives us some skills that allows us to be better adults, to be honest. Because we've been through things, we learn how to be more flexible, maybe all sorts of different things. But one thing that does happen is that those who have adversity under the age of 18 are 3 to 4 times more likely to develop mental health conditions by the time they are adults. Okay, so it's showing something that, and it makes sense. All of us come here and we talk. Okay, we're talking in chat. A couple of you have talked about parental, abandonment when you were children. Okay, other people like me, one of my things, I didn't have a parental abandonment. I had an amazing mom and dad. I couldn't have asked for better. Yes, my dad and I wanted to kill each other half the time because we were so alike, but we had a great relationship. But I moved all the time growing up. I stayed in every single school I was at, from first grade through senior year in high school. Every 2 years on the dot, I changed schools. My first year at every school, you didn't know who was your friend. You were trying to create new friendships, things like that. Second year, you're finally like, I finally fit in. And then all of a sudden, boom, move on to a new school. That created major issues for me that I didn't even realize how much it had tied to all that. So all of us, a lot of us do go through different things. Worldwide, okay, 1/3 of all mental health conditions can be traced back to adverse childhood experiences. Okay, it can be from abandonment. It can be from abuse. And we go through here. Just what are some of the types of child experiences that are adverse? Well, in 28.3% of the time, it's physical abuse. Substance abuse in the home, 26.9%. Now, I'm not sure what year this was, but parental separation or divorce, this number, I may be wrong, but feels low to me, but 23.3%. And what's sad is I'm thinking that's low, so that could be even higher. Hey, Kelly. And sexual abuse, 20.7. Okay, if you're looking at that, 28% physical abuse, 20% sexual abuse. That's a pretty freaking high number. Okay, if you really consider that's what, 1 out of 5 people, 5-ish people. Okay, that's scary. Mental illness in the home, 19.4%. I suspect that one's higher because how many of us, even to this day, mental illness is not something people automatically go out and try to find out about. Okay, how many people may be depressed and not actually go and get help for it or things like that? And and then out of all the, sorry, pups all over the place again, out of all the substantiated cases of child abuse and neglect in 2018, we're talking now, 60.8% were neglect. So when you're talking about abandonment, you are heavily talking neglect. Okay. If a child grows up in a neglectful type situation, it makes a difference as they get older. Now, that neglect can be all sorts of things. It can be anything from, abandonment. It could be coming home and no one ever being at home when you get at home. It could be, you get home, no one's at home, and when your parents do show up, well, guess what? It's too late and we got to go to sleep. It could be the parental type of relationship where the parent never even talks to the child. So many different levels that can be. 10%, 10.7 were cases of physical abuse, 7% were sexual abuse, and 21.5% of cases involved more than one kind of maltreatment. And that's one thing we have to realize, because a lot of times when you see neglect, you're also seeing physical abuse or you're also seeing sexual abuse. And this is where a lot of it comes down, especially with abandonment issues. 91.7% of all substantiated cases of child abuse and neglect involve one or both parents. Some cases are strangers or babysitters, especially something like a sexual or physical abuse. It could be a babysitter, a teacher, a coach, things like that. But 91.7% of all cases in general are parental. And when you're talking about the whole issue of abandonment, it's making it worse and worse. So now that we've shared that, let me do this and get a certain puppy to start behaving. And as we get older, for those people who have dealt with abandonment issues, and we're going to talk about how abandonment issues may look, what they may come out of, examples. But one of the things to remember is they change our lives. They change the way we deal with other people. It could be actual relationships, romantic relationships, friendship relationships. I can tell you myself, due to the issues of changing schools so often and all that, I have always been very, very worried about getting too close to someone, because I always expected the moment I got too close to someone, I created a great friendship, romantic, otherwise, whatever, they were going to get pulled away from me. I'm still to this day expecting that to happen. And it's hard to get rid of that thought. Hey, Sky Maiden. And so it's something to keep in your head. It's not always the romantic side. It could be just that. It could be work. Maybe you do really well. I've even found this with me. This is weird, but I've always wondered how much of this is connected. The first 2 years of working in a job for me, I am just like totally in it. 150% in it. And then the longer I'm there, I start finding myself pulling out of the community itself. And it's something I'm not as bad about now. When I was younger, I was much worse about it. That's why I think that actually was part of the reason. Because I didn't know long-term relationships were something that were harder for me to come up with. And for people who've dealt with that, say you've got a parental, a case where a parent walks out on you. It's even more so. How do you create a close, open-hearted relationship with someone when you were never given the chance to have that relationship with your parent because that parent wasn't there for you? So there's many different ways. Yeah, AJ. I'm kind of reading chat, and sorry, gang, I'm not following chat real well, but AJ, answering to authority. It's something that's hard. Hope, by the way, hi, Hope. Oh, hey, Jet's mom. So, hi, Hope and Jet's mom. My mom forgot my name and called me little kid then she told me she had forgotten my name. So I got angry the next time she called me little kid and made her stay. Yes. And those things, they go into your head. And your parent may, try to talk their way out of it or things like that. But it's still real emotions that you're dealing with. So let's talk about some of those examples, because like I said, many times we all think of abandonment as parent walks out. Okay, well, like I said, there's so many more types of way abandonment can, things that are there that we don't even realize are affecting us. First is that idea, growing up with neglectful parents, parents that they're just not 100% involved in our relationship. Okay, they're working, and you know what? Maybe it's the case they love you dearly. Your parent may love you with every bit of their heart, but maybe they are workaholics. Work is so much, because in their eye, especially, this was big, especially in past generations, the father's job was, I've got to make sure I put enough food on the table and enough money to do everything that needs to be done. So, my job is this. Mom's job was to have all the kids and have a relationship with the kids. What would happen is, over time, people wouldn't know how to react to that male figure in their life. Okay, because that male figure was never really there. Yes, they may be at dinner tables and all, but they weren't really talking. They weren't really having that relationship. So having neglectful, whether it is meaning to be neglectful, in a case for alcoholics, exactly, Sky Maiden. Okay, alcoholic family members. Okay, you've got a mother or father who's an alcoholic or any addict. Okay, and I think that's one reason why, okay, now that I think about it, I mentioned work. Well, work can become an addiction. Many of us have fallen for that, where work became 40, not 40 hours, but more like 70, 80 hours a work week. Drugs, okay, outside activities, drinking, whatever. And that addiction leads to neglecting the needs of your child, because your focus is completely on, when am I going to get that next drink? Okay, how am I going to hide the overt signs of my addiction from my family? So over time, that becomes more and more neglectful, because you're so focused on everything else. You're not focusing on your child, that child who needs your attention, that child who's screaming for mom or dad to love them. And this kind of goes in with the next one, just growing up with absent parents. Okay, where neglect, okay, and I kind of cover both of these in the same thing. Neglect can be truthfully, okay, you make your own meals, you clean yourself, you buy the food, you do all those other things. An absent parent is taking care of all those other physical needs. Okay, they're buying your clothes, they're making sure that you get to school and things like that, but they're not there for everything you need. Maybe they're not. I saw the greatest TikTok the other day, and it was a little boy, probably about 6 years old or 5 years old, probably graduating from kindergarten, I guess. And you see him walking in. He literally looks like he is on the edge of falling apart. Crying almost, okay? He's holding every bit of that in, wanting to cry as he's walking in. And what happens as he gets closer and closer, he turns the corner to where he needs to sit, and you see a change occur with him. He goes from wanting to cry to mad. This kid looked like he wanted to disappear. He didn't want to be there. He was pissed off. And he sits down like this, and you just look this, and all of a sudden he looks up in the stands, and he saw someone. I don't know if it was mom. I don't know if it was dad, uncle, grandparent, coach, maybe. But all of a sudden he went from this, and he was totally beside himself. In that moment, he went from having that absent parent or absent whoever it was, and was going to make a difference. And I've known people whose families did not come to their graduation and stuff, and how that hurt them. And I saw that in this little boy. the pain this kid was going through. And then all of a sudden, he noticed someone was there for him. They weren't all absent, and it made the difference for him. The next type is the death of a loved one. This one can get very complicated. When you're a child dealing with death, it could be many different types of death you're dealing with. It could be grandma. Maybe you had an amazing relationship with grandma or grandpa and they died. Maybe it's a parental figure. Okay, mom or dad. And your reaction to that parent dying versus grandparent dying is going to be different because the support is going to be different. Hey there, Aussie True Crime. And all the supports can be different. Now add in, what if it's a child, okay, a sibling, a sister or brother who's passed away? Now you get a different level on top of all that. Okay, because when you have a sibling die, you've got parents who are dealing with all their emotions. And many times, who is it who's left out without any support? It's that sibling that's left over. So that sibling, many times in these types of situations, is going to start feeling this level of abandonment. What did I do to cause this? Did I do something that caused mom to die? Okay, did my brother die because I got in a fight 2 days ago? Things like that. And those things kind of stick in the back of your head no matter what. You start wondering, okay, what did I do wrong? What's going to happen next time? Okay, if I ever get in a fight again, is that going to cause this? All these things start popping up in your head. This next one is what I dealt with most often, moving. Okay, now this could be you yourself moving or other people moving. Okay, what if it's this case where you have a best friend that you have known for years? You tell them all your secrets, you share everything with them, and then they up and leave. Now, everything that you've developed in you, learning at the age of maybe 9, 10 years old, how to trust someone, how to have that deep relationship with someone else where you share all your fears and stuff. You're like, whoa, wow, okay, I'm not going to risk that in the future because look what just happened. I gave my heart to this other person and this has just happened. And what if it happens again? So you may find yourself, okay, when you have a case like this happen, that you just don't, you're like, no, I'm not creating a friend like that ever again. Okay, or in the case, military kids. Okay, military kids are those people who move a lot because of their parents' jobs. It is really rough. Okay, I used to get so jealous of my brother because he literally, when we were in Colorado, he had 4 years at one school. When we moved out here to Hawaii, he had 4 years at one school just because of how the years worked for him. For me, I got 2 at both places. It was 7th, 8th in Colorado, 9th, 10th Colorado, and then came here 11th, 12th. So it just got this thing in my head that I never wanted to risk getting too close to someone, especially back then because you didn't have social media. I think, that was my question that I asked everyone at the beginning of this, okay, in your question of the day chat portion. How did you deal with things? I think social media made it easier for me because I could reconnect with people online, but it's still not the same whatsoever. And the last grouping I wanted to mention is divorce. I think this is something that most people who deal with just everyday abandonment issues deals with. It's from a divorce type situation. Okay, divorce is something, or separation is something that's very, very common, okay, in our society nowadays, has been since the 80s. And what's happened over this time is that how do you create the relationship that you have with a parent figure when you're bouncing back and forth? How does that parent create the relationship? Okay, one of the things we've been talking about in the safety videos that we've been doing lately for the internet is number one thing to do is talk and communicate with your children right now, so that if they ever make a mistake or have concerns where they might want to run away or things like that, they already have that relationship with you where you can talk with them. Well, divorce and separation can truly make a difference in this, especially in the cases where the parents are fighting nonstop, because now you're adding that in. Kids are not prepared for these types of emotions. They truly aren't. Okay, that's what those years are about. Those years are truly about how do we develop the relationship within ourselves and the relationship with other people to figure out how to deal with the emotion when maybe our parent comes home and they've been drinking nonstop. Okay, and they don't even realize when they walk in that you're in tears. Okay, or that you're having to now make all the meals or something like that. Okay, how do you deal with the emotions as a 6-year-old when your parent dies? Okay, or your mother or father abandons you and decides to move on, and you know what? What do you do about it? You don't have the control to pick up and go with them. You don't have the ability to figure out what you want. So all these things make a difference for us. Okay, how do you? For me, it was trust. Okay, talking to people. There's basically 3 different types of attachment styles that we develop, that showed this insecurity, this avoidance, this fear of having a relationship that comes from being abandoned, quote unquote. Hey guys, stop it. The first one is an avoidant attachment style. Okay, this is kind of where I fell. Okay, these are the people who don't let you close to them. They can be very distant. They're private. They're withdrawn. Okay, many of you guys know I'm not a phone girl. I do not do well on telephone calls. When I'm on it, I love it. But I've just all these years built up these different things. I would not go out on the weekends at one point because I was just like, hey guys, I bet your mom just got home. Sorry, gang. And mom had a doctor's appointment, so she just got back. I know she's home. And hey, guys. Okay, mom's here. And the avoidant attachment group is definitely going to be looking at that thing. Hi, mom. And about if I let people close to me, they're going to leave. Okay. If I let people close to me, they're going to hurt me. So I'll put up the walls. I'll put up those boundaries. Oh, and even better, you'll call them boundaries. I used to do that. I would set up walls to protect myself and call them boundaries. This was before I understood what boundaries really were, because a boundary should not hurt you. A boundary should not be in place to help you do things that are not good for yourself. They're not for escape. Boundaries are not meant for escape. Okay, boundaries are there for you to protect yourself, yes, but not to escape. And the next group of people are the anxious attachment styles. So this is the opposite, where the first group does, like Red Rock just said, trust no one. Okay, the second group, they latch on to anything. Okay, they've got to be connected, because if they're not connected with you, if they don't have a friend, if they don't have this, if they don't have that, oh my gosh, everyone's leaving me. Okay, it's that feeling of a 8-year-old child who wants to be loved so bad by the parent who just walked out on them. And they tell themselves, I will do everything. I will never do anything wrong again. I will be there for you. I will give up anything just to be with you. So your anxious attachment style latches. Hey now, Belle. They develop this intense, close, codependent many times relationship. Okay, everything is about that relationship and how they can fix things and how they can take the blame for things, because you know what? And this many times, especially that anxious attachment, get involved in the domestic violence type situations. Okay, we talked about in domestic violence, it's hard to leave the relationship. Well, many times when that can be tied back to issues with abandonment, things that happened as a child, a lot of times it's tied to this idea that if I don't have a friend, if I don't have a boyfriend, a girlfriend, if I don't have a group of people, that means I'm alone. No one cares about me. I've been abandoned by everyone, and I'm going to make sure I'm not abandoned, and I'll do whatever I need to do it. Your last group is a combination of the two. This group is disorganized. It's a disorganized style. So they combine the two. Many times they're very uncomfortable with intimacy. They're very uncomfortable with being close. But they feel like they need to be close to someone. Okay, hey, PJ, how you doing, my dear? Love ya. And they've got to be close to someone. So they create the relationships to be close to them. But their response is inconsistent because they still have that avoidant side to them. The side that is like, well, you know what? Oh, gosh, yeah, no, I'm really close to them right now and they could hurt me, so I'm going to back out. So the person who's in that type of friendship or relationship they never know what's going to come next from the person. Okay, if there's a fight, the person sees it as a negative attack against them. This is just the start of it. We just had a fight. This is just the start of it. They're going to walk out on me next. And so then they jump in closer, trying to stay in closer. So it's a little of everything. So, hey, Tiff, welcome. Thank you. Thanks, Tiff. So after talking about the different ways you can go about different styles, okay, let's look at how abandonment shows up in our adult lives. Okay, because again, so many of us think, well, my parent didn't abandon me, so I don't have abandonment issues. That can't be what's going on here. And the problem is, if you don't know, it's like physical health to your body. If you don't understand your body and how you react to things, like me, my blood sugar can go super low very quickly. I know how to read that in my body, and the moment I feel that blood sugar going low, what do? I grab myself some sugar and protein real quick to pull it back up. You got to have that same response to your mental health, so that the moment you start feeling a certain way, you can start addressing that need. And so it's important to understand, where does everything come from, and can they be related? So first is, a lot of times when we're dealing with abandonment, you ignore your own needs. Everyone else's needs matter more than yours. And this goes back to the whole idea of, sorry guys, and this goes back to the whole idea that you've been abandoned in the past. There has to be something that you can do to change that. Okay, so if you aren't selfish and think just about yourself, if you think about everyone else, that person's not going to leave you or hurt you or say something that, okay, you start playing into that. So you will on purpose make the decision to ignore your own feelings. Cassie. Yeah. I don't know what they want today, but they want something. And next is, here's a Cheeto, guys. Cheetos work usually. Come on, Cass. Come on. Right there. Okay, you can have it up there. And next is being unable. Okay, so unable to leave a relationship. I mentioned that a few minutes ago with domestic violence. We did a live a couple months ago during Domestic Violence Week where we talked about leaving, making the decision to leave. And so many times in these cases, they don't want to leave. Okay, and that's why you see so many people repeating cycles. We talk about that all the time, where a person repeats the cycle. Their parents abuse them, so now they abuse their children, and their children may abuse their children, and you stop the cycle. Okay, in this case, they want to stop the cycle. They've decided, I'm going to stop the cycle. I'm not going to leave. I can't leave because then I'm doing exactly what my mom did or what my dad did or whatever. Again, putting other people's emotions and feelings above theirs and then saying, no, I'm going to stay right here because I'm not making anything that's going to hurt anyone. And bingo, Jet. Jet's mom. Yep. Jet is the sweetest thing. Next, the relationships, and this is something kind of actually followed with even me, I had to look at, is since I moved as often as I did, okay, my relationships when I was in school, okay, never really got to go too far. Okay, because like I said, the first year at a new school is focused on being a new student there, figuring out where you are, where you stand in the hierarchy of the peer groups and things like that. So finally you're fitting in, and then the second year you're there. Okay, and you slowly start, that's the year you're starting to create a deeper relationship with everyone. And you start developing, okay, that emotional intimacy with friends, okay, as you get into high school years and all that, relationships, things like that. And, but in many of the cases, if you're just having to pick up and go right away, in my case, it became hard to do that. So as you get older, you've had practice up to a certain point. That's what our childhood's about. Childhood is practice for the skills we need as adults. So does it mean that I can't develop deeper relations? No, I can definitely develop those. But I have to, and that's going to be part of what we talk at the end. How do you change these things? How do you break the cycles? How do you go about doing this stuff? The next one is having sex with multiple people to feel close to others. Okay, sorry, gang, I have to go all the way in there. That's one of the things that many times, okay, a person who's on the opposite end of what I just explained, the side that doesn't have the vulnerability and all, then you have the other side of the group that's like, I have to have any relationship will do. And they will bounce from place to place to place looking for anything that gives them that feeling that they're looking for. And what's funny is you would not think that is abandonment. Okay, that doesn't come from abandonment. How would that come from? But in the end, it actually does, because what you're doing is you're looking for any feeling of love. You're looking to belong. And hey, LFT, hey girl, how you doing? Love you too. Love. Aw, thank you, my dear. Hey, thanks about the inferiority. That one, I need to go back and rewatch that myself, actually. So yeah, I did. And also, you know, Jet's mom, you can really go into a lot of what I found that actually doing the research on this, you can get into a lot of different disorders with this. Oh, Tiff, I do not mind you sharing this out. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. No, the whole idea when we started doing these mental health lives is we're all dealing with these things, but none of us want to talk about them. Okay. Or if we talk about them, we talk about them from a book point of view. Okay. Or other ways. And you know what? Let's come together and help each other. That's what it's about. Let's help each other with it. So, yes, I love you guys, but you guys are being noisy. Gosh, they're being the worst I've ever seen them. Now, the next group is chasing people away. Okay, so where the one I mentioned earlier is not allowing your relationships to get deep. Okay, this is more about you push them away quickly. You don't allow yourself, and I've actually, one of my best friends used to tell me all the time that I was the queen of that. I was the queen of whenever we'd start having a discussion that was getting really deep. And I love to get deep on discussions. I love to have deep discussions. But I also, especially when I was in my college years and all, I would quickly push people away once I got to that point. Okay, because of the fear of what would happen. Okay, with it. And what could happen? Right there. Being scared people are going to leave you. Okay, that fear, abandonment, a lot of times comes down to this fear people are going to leave you. Okay, I've even seen it here on YouTube with all of us. Okay, we start getting close to someone, and then all of a sudden, a lot of these emotions start coming out, and you start pushing people away or doing things that might push people away and things like that. You can actually see all these things happen. Okay, I can see them with myself. I can see, in fact, there's a couple of you out here that I've actually told, let me know when I start pushing you guys away. Because I know I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I need to depend on you guys who are my friends to tell me, hey, girl, you know what? I think I'm noticing this is happening. Okay. And yeah, it might be because I need a break, but it might also be I'm falling into old patterns. So this was one I mentioned earlier at the beginning, putting others before yourself. Okay, it goes back to that whole feeling of if I put myself first, I'm going to piss off people. It's the whole reason why a child, when their parents get divorced, a child blames themselves. We hear that all the time. Jet's mom, love you. This one is growling like crazy. Love you, my dear. Those of you who've been through divorce, whether it's you yourself as an adult or as a child, or even we watch TV, okay, and you hear the cases of where a child's parents are talking to them about divorce, and the child sits and says, what did I do? And then, of course, they come back, you did nothing, honey, it's mom and dad and all that. That's where this comes from. This idea that, you know what, it had to be something I did. Okay, because a lot of times I used to joke with people. There was a time growing up, not even just growing up, I mean into my 30s, where I would think, oh, everything else surrounded me. Okay, as a kid, it was like, okay, there was a movie going on and I was the only real person and everyone else were actors and everything in my movie or something. We see things in these weird ways. Hey, Lycan, hey there, my dear. And so as time goes on and something goes wrong and you have that friendship that falls apart or the parent that leaves your life, it's got to be your fault. You're the reason why they left. So how do you fix that in the future? You always put everyone else ahead of you. Because if you make sure you never piss people off, okay, and you're always trying to make everything nice and stuff like that, then they will never leave you ever again, which it's not going to work that way. But in our heads, in our psyche, because of how we were growing up, we think that. The other group that a lot of times you will find yourself dealing with is people who they need to be loved. They need to have people around them all the time. Because if those people leave, then they've been abandoned. The idea of abandonment for this group of people that have to have themselves surrounded by people, no matter how good, how bad, whatever, their feeling is if all of a sudden these people aren't around them, they've been abandoned again. They're not worthwhile, whatever it is. So I will surround myself with people. And what's the best way to surround yourselves with people who will never leave you? Surround yourselves with people who are very needy and then cater to all their whims. So you're putting others ahead of yourself and you're surrounding yourself So you do all these things at the same time. Okay, it's all of this coming together, trying to find out. And the last one I wanted to mention before we go into how can we fix this, how can we start healing some of these things, is many people who have done, hey, Marky Mom, how you doing, Marky? And that we deal with is we pick unavailable partners. Okay. If you are in this position where you know people have left you in the past, okay, whether it be friends, parents, whatever, you've been abandoned over and over and over, the best way to make sure you will never be abandoned again is to always aim for or pick people that you know are not available, that are never going to totally commit to you and open up to you. Okay, you're never going to have to be vulnerable with them because they are unavailable to begin with. They're not going to talk with you. They're not going to really get to know who you are. And, or maybe you just have no chance with them whatsoever. So you never have the chance of potentially connecting with someone and then finding out they're going to dump you or they're going to move on or something, and that trigger all of those abandonment type feelings that you're already dealing with. So those are some of the different ways abandonment can show up in our lives, but what can we do to heal from them? Okay, like I said before, if it's a physical thing with your body and you're diabetic and you know your blood sugar goes low and this is how you feel, you quickly grab yourself some sugar and protein. You know what to do for that. Okay, well, it's the same thing here. You've got to know, okay, I can recognize that I am holding friends at arm's length and not getting close to people, so what can I do? Okay, so first one is just identify it. Okay, gang, being able to recognize what's going on is key for anything, whether it's physical, emotional, whatever. Understanding what's going on in your body, okay, acknowledging it, feeling it. That's all. Easier said than done. Okay, feeling it is not easy. And but when I had to start being willing to be vulnerable with my best friend and, okay, be open to having that relationship where I knew I could be hurt, okay, I had to be willing to accept that was an option. So identify it, acknowledge, okay, that's fine. It comes from where? Where does that emotion come from? Whether it's anxiety, depression, anything that comes your way, where does that come from? Okay, acknowledge that, feel the feelings, feel the fears, let yourself know it's okay. Next, talk to others. So talk to your friends. We're lucky here. We all have this community here that's amazing. Okay, we got multiple communities right here in this chat right now. We've got the missing community right there. We've got the trauma community. We've got all these communities right here. And all of us know a little bit about each other. Yeah, Tiff, see, that's my thing, identifying. I got to get better at that. I'm trying to get better at that, but that's one of the things we can help each other with too. And actually, yeah, that is something. I've actually told many of you guys know Phoenix, Living Like Phoenix. She's one of the ones that I've talked to in the past because I can get very codependent. Okay, I'm much better now, but I used to be very bad. So I remember going up to her and telling her at one point, okay, the moment you see me sliding down that road of codependency and naivete or whatever, all sorts of different things that she and I talked about, I said, I want you to stop me immediately and say, hey, loco girl, take a look at what's going on. I might listen to you, I might not, but at least let me know. And so that's how we can work as friends on that. Because that's what friends do. We talk with each other and we help each other. Okay, so in this area, talk with them about the reason. Mrs. P mentioned earlier about her mother. And so talk with people, because in talking, you tell your truth. You tell people who you are. Okay, you also, in just that little amount of time of acknowledging what happened and letting someone know, you pay respect to that inside of you, that it was something that happened. Okay, it was something that happened and it's something I need to deal with. But I'm not going to run away from it, type thing. How else can you do that outside of just talking and telling your story? Okay, write a letter to the person who abandoned you. Okay, so for those of you who have, hey, Mrs. Portland, good, you're still here. I wasn't sure if you were or not, so I was hoping you were. Write a letter to the person. This is something that a lot of therapists talk to all of us about when you're in therapy about something. Sometimes maybe it's an abandonment thing, maybe it's an abuse type thing, assault, anything. At some point or another, your therapist, 9 times out of 10, is going to tell you, why don't you write a letter to the person who hurt you? Let them know how. You don't have to send it to them. It's not about sending them the letter. Okay, no one's going to grade the letter. No one's going to sit there with their red pen marking everything off. No. Just go in there and let I am so, I don't know why Nightbot, Mrs. P, I'm sorry, I don't know why Nightbot just activated all of a sudden. I literally have not had Nightbot for months. Mrs. P, I am sorry. Let me see if I can block that real quick. Hide user on this channel. See if that works. Okay. That is weird. Really weird. But anyhow, yeah, getting back to that. Make sure you go and just write a letter to them. Okay, do a video for them. Whatever it is. Just letting them know, okay, how you feel, how it hurt you, how you wish it had been different. Okay, get those emotions out, because emotions, when they're inside our hearts, they eat us up. Okay, if you have hate, it will eat you up inside. You may not recognize it when it's happening, but over time, you will see and you will feel what that darkness does to you. So writing that letter, recognize the abandonment was not your fault. Okay, if a parent abandons you, if they walk out, if parents divorce, okay, if a grandmother passes away, if your dad is in the military and you have to move every couple of years, it's not your fault. It's not what you did that led to the abandonment. Okay, me being who I am did not make any difference on me moving or not moving. I was going to have to move. Okay, if your parents got a divorce, it wasn't because of who you were as a daughter or son. It honestly was about the two of them as husband and wife. Whether they had the ability to be together, or if they were meant to be friends only, or not even talk to each other outside of saying what needed to happen to help guide you on your way. It's not your fault. Next, as you can tell, this one was one. Practice letting people love you. Okay. If you are all the time dealing with abandonment issues, okay, that's what I did, Mrs. Portland. Nightbot is a block bitch right now. And also, if you are dealing with abandonment issues, if you're dealing with those fears that abandonment can cause, a lot of times it's going to close off your ability or your want to be who you are. You're always looking for the bad that's going to happen. You're always looking for that shoe to drop, that friend to walk out. And there's got to be more you can be doing, because if things are going to happen and go wrong, it's going to be your fault in the end. And so practice letting people care about you. It's okay for people to love you for who you are, even your faults. Okay? And if they don't, they don't. Let me ask you guys, put a 1 in chat if you have a hard time accepting compliments. Put a 2 in chat if you're like, oh yeah, give me all the compliments in the world. I'll take them all day long. Okay, I love every moment of them. Put a 1 in chat if you're like, okay, thank you, type thing. Oh my God. See, it's not just me. I love compliments. Don't get me wrong. I love compliments. But I will quickly turn them around and say, oh, well, thanks so much. Well, you did a lot of good work on this. I'll turn it on them. And or something like that. That's what I mean by practice letting love in. It's okay for people to show their love towards you. Exactly, Tiff. I get very uncomfortable also. That feeling when someone tells me good work on something, yes, I get happy, but at the same time, I'm feeling really, really uncomfortable. Okay, I don't like that type. I don't know what it is. I still haven't figured out what it is. It's something I've got to figure out still for me. But practice it. Practice accepting those compliments. Okay, knowing that people really mean them. They're not just words. There's something good about you. Next is inner child work. Not sure how many of you guys, I'm kind of keeping an eye on chat right now. Oh, hey, Boots Mama. And Missy K, hey. And anyone I'm missing, hi there. And how many of you guys have ever dealt with inner child work? I'd be really interested in that. Inner child work was something I mentioned to many of you guys. I started dealing with a lot of my work back in my late 20s. It was the early 2000s when I was really dealing with a lot of work, and I had done EMDR and all that stuff. And we got a couple people popping up that they had done inner child work. Inner child work became very, very ridiculous to me at first, but as I started doing it, I found it very helpful also. Not only was it helpful in helping me move forward and learn trust and stuff like that. Yes, Boots Mama, exactly. It's extremely complicated with DID. DID makes it a mess. And, but it also starts healing that child, because what it honestly is, okay, and I know this is a lot of, like light, fluffy stuff and all that, and take it for wherever you want to take it along this. Attachment issues, abandonment issues, anxiety, things like that come from abuse, stuff like that, all come from the fact that there was a part of us, a age of us that was hurt. Okay? There was a time in our lives that we were hurt badly, whether it was our parents walked out on us, someone died, a parent died, whatever it was, something happened, you were abused, whatever. There was a part of you that was hurt badly at that time. That part of you was never allowed to grow up and become the person you were initially meant to grow up into. So inner child work is truly about allowing that child, that part of you that's still there, because it still hurts. Okay, that's why so many of us hide from healing work, okay? That's why so many of us get stuck in the victim mode, because to go from victim to survivor, you have to deal with all this crap. And so that's what inner child work is about. It's about acknowledging that little girl or little boy in you and letting them be who they were meant to be. For me, I actually would do Play-Doh. I do coloring, things that we do as adults anyhow at times. There's adult coloring, there's adult, playing with crafts, things. And that's why one of the greatest things you're doing as a child at that age, you're learning something that's very important. You're learning how to self-soothe. Anyone who's had a baby knows what self-soothing is. You want that child to spend the night without waking up and screaming and yelling. So you want them to learn how to self-soothe. So you let them stay in bed screaming, whatever it is that you choose to do. You still need for us to be able to move forward and deal with the anxiety, the panic issues, the depression, okay, anger, whatever, we have to learn to self-soothe in a healthy way. So by doing that inner child work, you're teaching yourself how to self-soothe. Okay, you're teaching for some people, okay, self-soothing is something as easy as just rocking, okay, or tapping their hands, okay, or touching their, or whatever. So many different things that it can be for you, but find a way for you to self-soothe. Maybe it's listening to music, coloring, okay, exercise. Exercise can be a great way, because if you think about it with the kids, sometimes a child, for them to kind of clear their mind and move forward, you send them outside to get all their energy out. That's what exercise can do for us. It's allowing us to get our energy out. And with that energy, all those feelings that we might have for ourselves. And last in the ways to heal is practice being alone. No matter which side you're on, whether you're one of those people who puts people off, okay, pushes them away as far as you can, or if you're the one who's going to connect with anyone and everyone possible as part of abandonment, it all comes down to this fear and worry of being alone. So if you practice that, you continue working towards, how do I feel comfortable and be alone? It's okay to be alone, especially nowadays. I mean, we feel like, hell, look, YouTube. We can't even be alone all day. We climb onto YouTube and we talk on YouTube. Okay? It's so, the idea of sitting in total quiet is hard. Okay, so when all of a sudden friends are okay, you're worried, afraid. Yeah, we need another puppy. Puppy's been growling behind my back, haven't you? Yeah, puppy has been growling behind me. And also, but yeah, no, just having that feeling that it's okay to be alone. Yeah, you do got puppies. Yeah, they're getting jealous of each other now too. Okay, grab your puppies, grab your cats, birds, reptiles, whatever you got. Find a way for you to help calm yourself, and also let yourself know it's okay to be on your own. Because yes, you may be on your own for a little while, but then you're going to turn around and go out with friends or connect with people here on YouTube or all sorts of stuff. So, hey there, it's me. And so a lot of things that can come from abandonment. Last week when we started, okay, and I asked everyone, I need ideas. I need some more ideas of things we can talk about. And whoever that was gave us this idea. Okay, I was just like, oh my gosh. Okay, abandonment. Well, I had a great mom and dad. I had, abandonment was not really, and then all of a sudden I started looking at things, and you start finding different ways things work in your life. And for some of you, this may click. For some of you, you're going to be like, no, this doesn't click. And that's what's great. I've been noticing actually lately, there's been a couple of you who've been watching some of my old videos on mental health. And I've been loving the comments coming back. Okay, oh my gosh, I've been loving the comments that have been coming back on that. And one of the people said, yeah, this one didn't speak too much to me. It wasn't an issue that I had. However, I did enjoy hearing this or that. And I love that, because it's giving people a chance to look at themselves and what goes on. So for those of you who've been here before, you know what I'm going to ask next. For those of you who haven't, you're going to find out. I usually try to ask everyone, if you're here, or if you're watching on replay, you can do it in comments. And what is a takeaway from today? What's one thing that we discussed that's your takeaway? Something that over the next couple days, you're going to try to pull into your own life. Okay, that you're going to try to fit into your day-to-day life. Okay, and let me see here. We've got, let's see, K9 has this. The best way to help yourself is to help other people. Volunteering in some capacity helps you realize not only your worth, but that of others. Yes. Volunteering is one of the greatest things. If people have the time to do it, it teaches you so much about yourself and others. AJ, my takeaway from today is I need to relax and just have more fun. Yes, 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 that's 9 times out of 10, especially when we're dealing with these things. We're so focused on the emotions behind everything, and we forget just to live. Just live and have fun with it. JP, consider others' anxiety before my own. Interesting, yes. And because there's so much going on, and that's all of these work for us in the way that we're meant to see them at this. Okay, let's see, Morky. I'm not here to joke, but I'm here to be real and present. Bingo. There's so many things that we get into with this, and YouTube can get so serious at times that we have to have fun, which we will. Cantina's going to be popping up in 50 minutes if you guys want to come back for Cantina. And but it's definitely, guys, we have so much ability to make the friends that we have here. Okay, to learn new things, to become better. Okay, JP learned how to charge his phone. There you go. There you go. And also, okay, again, if anyone, okay, yes, I'm going to go feed these dogs real quick before we start. If anyone has any ideas whatsoever, burden to keep doing inner child work, and that's sometime, I don't know, if anyone has any ideas of subjects for the future, I definitely would appreciate it. Aussie True Crime, I love that one. My takeaway is everyone needs to get their troll accounts out there because Yokoma needs 50 more subs. That is true. That is true. I need some people to watch some things too. I need a couple more hours also. They're kind of close, but not exactly close. I need a little bit more hours first too. Cantina will be up. If you guys have ideas, can we do a stream on DID? I am thinking of pulling something together on DID. A lot of people were wondering about it. Trying to figure out how I can pull it together to keep it interesting for those people that don't have DID also. I am trying to figure it out. I am definitely, Boots. I'd like to do something. I just got to figure it. You could help me. I know. Yes. So we will definitely talk, even if it's not a Friday mental health, maybe. DID is dissociative identity disorder. It's what used to be called MPD, a multiple personality disorder. But it's so much more. Thank you, Aussie True Crime. Playlist is helpful. And also, if you guys have ideas of what else you'd like to talk, DID definitely. And then please email me. Please email me. Mrs. Portland, I'm happy you're going to be coming there. And yeah, for those of you guys know with Cantina, I don't care. You know what? Everyone gets things. I'm going to eat. Someone made a comment last week about eating on Cantina. Hey, I'm going to eat. The way things are. I'm working all day on Friday. If I don't eat during Cantina, if other people don't, hey, that's how we hang out. It's about having, Cantina is a place you go to eat and drink. Come on. Okay. So anyhow, I will be seeing you guys really, really soon, about 45 minutes from now. I'm going to go shut these freaking dogs up. Would you like to say goodbye, Cassie? Say goodbye. Yeah? Would you like to say goodbye? If I pick up any of the others, she'll get jealous because she's an A#1 bitch, right? Are you a bitch, Cassie? Yeah, you are a bitch. Now you want to kiss. Okay, hey, you guys, I say this every week. Our life is nothing but a journey. Okay, our journey's going to take us everywhere like our road trips do every summer. Okay, we're going to stop off and take little detours and all sorts of stuff, but it is a journey. It's not about failing or passing. It's just continuing it and becoming who we're supposed to be over time. So I love each and every one of you, and I'll see you at Cantina in 45 minutes. Aloha. Good.